teams would soon head back to Cape Town for the final two short stages. Cronje remains in the lead, but Kuhn is breathing down his neck. Fecken moves into fifth, courtesy of Damso's suspension troubles. Back in Cape Town, it is time for the final two showdowns on stages 8 and 9. Stage 8 is a repeat from stage 1 the day before, after which the teams will race each other on the tarmac of the Killarney racing circuit one last time.
In the battle for production car glory, locals John Pizer and Brian Hoskins inherited second position after the demise of the Midas Subaru of Chad Coetzee and Etienne Lawrence earlier in the day. The speed cycling components, Subaru finished 14th overall. Mike Nathan and Derek Jacobs were favourites to win this category in their Birchmore's Mitsubishi Lancer, and the Cape Townians did not disappoint. Nathan even survived a broken drive shaft and a flat wheel, but reached the Killarney finish in 10th position overall. The Salom Group Polo of Tiens Joubert and Henny Boertes was suffering from a loss of power due to a broken exhaust, but the consistent Joubert recorded another top 10 finish in his maiden S2000 year. 7th position overall was a decent result for Fernando Rueda and Kobus Frey after the Total Evolution Toyota Runx suffered from a number of broken gearboxes and misfires throughout the year. After winning this event in 2008, Jean-Pierre Damso and navigator Andre Vermeulen were not satisfied with the 6th position. The Total Evolution Toyota's string of bad luck continued, as first a misfire and then a broken suspension component robbed them of any chance to fight for a better result. On the day before, a total of 29 teams took the starters' orders at the Birchmore start in Montague Gardens. As the rally was now nearing its end, the remaining 20 teams were all still involved in their own respective battles for class honours. The two-wheel drive Class A7 rally cars are not much slower than the top S2000 machines, although they lack the traction from the extra drive on the rear wheels and a few kilowatts of power. Outgoing Class A7 champions Chris de Wit and Dean Redlinghuis won the previous round, but had a nightmare event in the Western Cape. The Total Evolution Toyota Runx lost 26 minutes in stage 6 with a misfire and suffered various other problems, including a broken drive shaft. But the Class A7 rally battle was once again between class championship contenders Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee and Stefan Wilken and Greg Gericke. The Motorrad Toyota Runx of Hutchison had the overnight lead, but the Panhard Seat Triton Express Polo of Wilken fought back and took the class lead on the first stage of the day, albeit by only 1 second. It was a great fight between the up-and-coming rally stars who both occupied positions in the overall top 10, and over the next few stages, Wilken increased his lead to a full 22 seconds. But going into stage 8, disaster struck as the accelerator cable in the Polo snapped. They fixed the problem and reached the end, but 4 minutes and the class victory was lost. Hutchison's clean run was rewarded with his second Class A7 victory of the year and a 7-point class championship lead going into the final round of the season.
Yeah, there were 2 events and we needed to win both of them. We managed to win the first one. Unfortunate for Stefan, they had a great race and they really were doing well. They broke down, or had their problem in the second last stage, but that's racing.
The difference between a 1600 Class A6 car and an S2000 is even more pronounced, although there's nothing slow about these highly modified machines. Cape Town locals Andy Haig Smith and Craig Gray drove consistently to reach the end in their Team React Corolla, in spite of having a bit of last-minute drama on the Killarney racetrack. Their 18th overall was good enough for 3rd in Class A6. Etienne du Toit and Patrick Vermaak made a welcome return to rallying. Du Toit hasn't competed in a national rally since the end of last year, but the Cape Townians showed excellent pace in the outdated Corolla. It was good enough for 2nd in class and 13th overall. Throughout the day, Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin opened up a comfortable gap over Total Evolution teammates Craig Trott and Robbie Coetzee, but on stage 5, the Auris picked up a puncture, forcing him to stop and allowing Trott into the Class A6 lead after losing 2.5 minutes. Musa fought back and was closing in on Trott when the latter rolled his Runx out of the event on stage 7. Musa's class win in 12th overall was also enough to give the Toyota Auris model its first rally championship and Class A6 title. Class A5 is the entry-level class of South African rallying. The 1300 and 1400 Toyota Yaris and Volkswagen City Golfs are the slowest, but they also provided the closest battle of the entire rally. Lucy Mabanga and Sean Visser were missing a front bumper, but continued their good run of form with yet another class podium position in the Total Evolution Toyota Yaris. Third place in the Western Cape basically also seals a third place in the class championship for the up-and-coming driver. But as always, Class A5 turned into a royal battle between so-called teammates Guga Zulu and Carl Peskin and Andre Kleinwerk and Des de Fortier. The BP Ultimate City Golf teammates started the day just 8 seconds apart and traded fastest stage times on basically every stage. After 8 of the rally's 9 stages, Kleinwerk had closed the gap to Zulu to just 0.2 of a second. But as Zulu is also a circuit racing driver, Kleinwerk could not keep up with his teammate on the final stage at the Killarney racetrack. Zulu managed to win the stage and the class showdown by a mere 6 seconds, ensuring that this class championship will go down to the wire on the last event of the year.
Hutchison moves further ahead with a Class A7 win over rival Wilkin, while Musa wraps up the Class A6 championship. Zulu narrowly edges out his teammate Kleinwerk in Class A5, while both Class N3 starters fail to reach the finish. Back at the top, the small matter of who will win the BP Ultimate Rally still had to be decided. Marc Cronier has driven the perfect rally so far, but with only 2 short stages to go, life was getting tough at the top.
Going into this 5K now, I know the stage, so we should be okay, and then we're up to the tar, so I think we both know the tar quite well, so it's going to go down to the wire.
Enzo Keen won both previous stages to move closer to Cronier. The gap between himself and his first win of the year was now just 8 seconds.
It's close now, yes, not much left, and unfortunately only 5 k's of gravel left. But we tried very hard there.
Gemmell is in a safe third, but is there anything he could do about second position?
I don't think there's not enough kilometers left, but the guys are going well today. Very quick.
Fecken managed to battle his way back into 5th, but his next target was teammate Jan Abbe.
We're going to try and get past Yanni. I'm not sure if we'll be able to, but give it a good go.
Teammates or not, Habig wasn't going to give up his 4th position for anyone.
All guys, hard as they can.
Hargen Fecken and Pierre Harries were on the back foot from the very first stage of the day when they flipped the BP Ultimate Polo on its side. From that moment on, it was damage limitation for Fecken, who tried hard to close the gap to teammate Habig over the final 2 stages. But 5th overall was as high as he could get. Jan Habig and Douglas Judd challenged for the overall rally lead early on in the day, before being delayed by electrical problems. Although Fecken won both the last 2 stages, Habig had done enough to secure 4th position overall and to maintain his 3rd in the overall championship. Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh were hoping for a better finish, especially seeing that their title rival Fecken could only manage 5th. Every single position counts, and come the end of the season, 1 championship point could decide the overall outcome. Although he tried hard, Gemmell had no choice but to settle for the points that come with 3rd position. And that's because Enzo Keen came to the party at exactly the right time for Volkswagen. With these 2 short stages to go, the Cape Townian even had a sniff of the overall victory. But he could not quite close the 8-second gap needed. 2nd was still a very good result. And what a way to recover from early season hiccups for Marc Cronier and Robert Paisley. The Castrol Toyota driver was level-headed throughout the entire event and won 5 of the rally's 9 stages, although the 10.4 second winning margin suggests that it was a lot closer than it looked. It's also Cronier's 2nd ever rally victory.
A 10-second win for Marc Cronier over Enzo Keen, but more importantly, as far as the championship is concerned, more points for Gemmell in 3rd than for Fecken in 5th. The sweet taste of champagne from the top step of the podium for Marc Cronier and Robert Paisley. Only the 3rd pairing this entire year to experience this feeling.
Yeah, an absolute thrill for me. You know, the guys have been really quick all year, and this rally was meant for us. And the car was exceptional. We had absolutely no troubles, and it told its story all the way through to the end.
Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson haven't won a rally since the Sasol rally early last year, but he's getting mighty close with a number of podium finishes so far this year.
It's nice to be back and chasing for the win. You know, we had a chance of taking it, and we were in contention. We really tried hard today, and it's interesting. You know, as you get closer, you actually try harder, so you get hungry for the win, and it's nice to have that feeling back, and I'll be missing that.
Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh overturned their 3-point championship deficit into a 1-point lead. However, as teams must discard their worst score of the year, Gemmell and Feken are now tied on net points with just one rally to go.
Yeah, that was most important this weekend, to get a few more points than him. This weekend we started 3 points behind him, and now after this result we're tied. So it's whoever wins up in Joburg is going to take the championship.
A first production car victory for Mike Nathan and Derek Jacobs.
It's not the way I wanted to have a production car win, but to Alan Porter and Mike Venter, from chairman of the CPMCC, the organising club, we'd like to give you, your family, our condolences, the Wilkin family and Cecil. Guys, we're all thinking about you through these tough times, and what we'd like to say that we will all have a quiet prayer for you guys.
The end of a long and